Hey everyone. So today I'll be talking about an exercise that I've been doing lately to help me with painting and thinking more as a painter rather than as a draftsman, as someone who draws all the time. You know, I'm transitioning to painting into oil. It's a really tough discipline for me. And yeah, just trying to learn and share what I learn over here. So you can see I did a couple of these tiny paintings. I mean, these are, let's see, just to give you an idea of how big they are, right? About the size of my fingers. And I like them a lot because these exercises, because these heads are so small, it really forces you to think about brush strokes and paint and indication as opposed to trying to get detail. You can also do this exercise timed, like maybe do the face, the palm of your hand, the face, the size of the palm of your hand, like something like that. But then time it. Try to finish it in half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, 3 hours. You know, it really depends on your level and where you're at. And the beautiful thing about these exercises, they can really, really be customized so that you can target the area that you want to target. You know, one of my favorite teachers, Jeff Watts, always talks about the idea of different training modalities. You know, if you look at sprinters, they don't just sprint all the time. They sprint, but I'm sure they do long runs, they go to the gym, they do different things in order to be really, really great at their craft. So if you're gonna be someone who paints for you know, long portraits that are super detailed and, you know, spends hours on them, this exercise actually really helps you because it'll speed up the process of bringing the paint, speed up the process of the big sculptural shapes, speed up the process of tiling. A lot of beautiful things can happen just from this exercise. So I'm gonna get into it. This reference is so beautiful. I love the look that this lady has. Kind of a steampunky look. She's got this badass tattoo on her neck. Ooh. That is, you ought to be an intense person to get a tattoo over there. That must have really hurt. What was she thinking? Oh my God. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh shit. Sorry for cussing. I just had an accident here off camera. So what I'll be using to get my drawing in is this little stick right here. So this is actually a cotton swab. So the tip of it has some cotton, but it's sharp. So, you know, drawing with brush can be really clumsy. I'm not that great at drawing. I'm okay, you know. So adding the extra challenge of drawing with a paintbrush, which is already clumsy, and I'm already clumsy. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to use this just to make things easier. Let's see. Find the big head of the shape. Big head of the shape. Big shape of the head. It's hard to talk and draw at the same time, so hopefully I don't struggle with this too much. Big shape of the face. Just completely forgetting all details, just the big general shape. Try to get it as close as possible. Now I'm looking at her angles. This is incorrect. It should be the other way around, just a little bit. Slightly going up. You know, we've got the, let's see. Let's say the hairline would be somewhere here. The brow line would be maybe somewhere here. And then the nose line would be here maybe. Just rough guesstimates. Got the jawline over here. A simple straight line to indicate it. And then just taking a look at the distance of the back of the jaw, kind of where the ear connects to the face, to the absolute right over here. This seems about right. Again, with this exercise, I'm not going for likeness. As I say that, I feel like it should be a bit thicker. Maybe here. Yeah, I'm not going for likeness. I'd like to get it, but likeness is so tough. You gotta measure and really slow down. That's not the point of this exercise. You know, if I was practicing for likeness, then I would practice for likeness. And it's difficult. Like, likeness is one of the most frustrating areas for me personally. So let's say that the side of the face where it switches from being a front plane to a side plane, I would say is maybe about here. She has a down tilt, so if we just follow, let me add a rhythm for the eyebrows just so that I can have some piece of information that I can use to find where the ear is. We just go with the center line, which is going to be somewhere here. This isn't the greatest rhythm, but it'll suffice. And then I would say that the ear maybe is here, and then from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the ear would be somewhere there. She has an interesting ear shape, one of those that connects completely here to the jaw. Just following the outside contour of the ear, something like that. I feel like I need to add distance here, maybe add more hair. Let's see, something like that. Boom. Yeah, just go like that. Pretty clumsy, but it'll be covered in paint soon enough. So hopefully I'll be able to hide some of that clumsiness. And then the back of the head, her hair is extending somewhere here. Got a nice flow to it. Nice flow. It's so much fun to draw models who are just have a unique look, you know. This one in particular, I don't know, something about the hairstyle, the nose ring. I bet you should be interesting if you meet her. I mean, that neck tattoo alone, I would just like, whoa, interesting. I'm sure having conversation with this person would be really interesting, you know. It'd be funny if she just turns out to be like a boring accountant or something. Not that I have anything against accountants, but you know, you wouldn't typically see an accountant with a neck tattoo. Okay, so these sticks that I'm using, they do have a problem in that they blunt really quickly, so you constantly have to change them. So off camera, as soon as I feel like, this is too blunt, change it, pick another one. Now, the more dexterity you get, the less you need to do this, right? And also, you know, depends on the surface. Some surfaces can damage it quicker than others, and you'll get a feel for it as you go along. So this is way too angled. And then go in. There's a nice opportunity to use the Riley rhythm here and figure out how we can balance out that. There's a rhythm here as well for the chin. Feels to me that maybe I can go a little wider, like that. And let's see. There's the rhythm here for the, I don't know, I forget what this part of the skull is called, but you can see this prominence happening. You know, in some faces more than others. Let's see. I think I'm gonna get the general shape of the nose in. I think if this is the middle of the head, then have the nose attach here. I think, I'll go like so, and then Yeah, this is gonna be a toughie, man. Again, small drawings are really, really difficult for me personally, especially if you're trying to draw from a reference, because any mistake is exaggerated, right? Any mistake you make, I mean, if you're off by a millimeter at this scale, it's different than if you're off by a millimeter at this scale. So, I mean, forget likeness, just getting it to look like a decently proportioned head that follows, you know, basic human anatomy, that on itself is a challenge, right? It's got this beautiful shape for the lips. I think I can make this a lot easier for myself, but just looking at the two shapes, the two values, the dark and the light, and just see if I can get that. So let's see. You know, I'm just seeing when I squint, I should probably go like that for this specific shape, right? And then the bridge of the nose. This area is all dark. Come down, and then it connects to the lip. And I'm just gonna indicate things right now. This is just too tiny, and I know that with my clumsy brushwork, I'm gonna suffer anyways. So if I'm sitting here trying to make things look good, and then the brush is just gonna mess things up, you know, why bother? That's my philosophy, at least for now. I could be wrong about that. You know, again, I am an art student. I'm trying to, you know, give you guys some tips based on what I'm learning and what I've learned, having done this for a while and maybe being a step ahead compared to some of you, but I'm sure a lot of you are more advanced than I am. In that case, like, why are you watching this video? But in case you are, take things with a grain of salt, right? See what works and what doesn't. Something feels really off, particularly with the proportion of the neck. I don't know, maybe I'll push it here. And then we've got here. It's definitely something off. I think I'm gonna push this to be like more like so. All right, and then this is just a hair shape of, yeah, I have enough. Now I'm just gonna squint, look at the dark shape, look at the light shape, and paint that in. Really simply. Not gonna complicate things. Detail comes later, right? So, I'm gonna use this brush. Just, let me add some, what is this called? Medium. This is linseed oil. I just added to my paint off camera, just so that it flows a little bit more. And actually, let me change. And this is way too nice of a brush. I need something I can scrub with. So let's use this bristle brush right here. You guys are gonna see it in a bit on camera. Get some of that linseed in, and boom, done. Do I want to lose the ear? See, if I scrub, I'm gonna lose that ear. Fuck it. You know, see what happens. Let me use this fancy maul stick. It's actually not a fancy maul stick. It's a old man's cane. Does the job. No need to buy something expensive just cause, you know. Some maul sticks are ridiculously expensive. Why? Why? It's just a stick with a hook. Like, come on, guys. You know what I mean? Let's see. So this brush is gonna be good for certain areas, but then I'm gonna have to find something smaller, just so that I don't mess up these areas over here. I mean, look at this brush, it's pretty messed up. And I don't take good care of my brushes, which I should, but I work a full-time job, so painting is such a time suck, and you add taking care of brushes and cleaning, and I mean that in itself can put you off. Really, the setup time is a lot. Painting, oil painting specifically, is just it's a lifestyle. You know, it's not something that you can just. I mean, I know a lot of people do it as a hobby, and that blows my mind. Doing it as a hobby, it doesn't make sense to me to do it as a hobby. And you know, if you're one of those hobbyists, I would love to hear your thoughts about it. I mean, share in the comments below, because to me, painting is such a difficult task. So for me, like when I think hobby, I think something that I want to use to relax at the end of my day. But painting to relax? Oh, this type of painting at least, right? I mean, to me, it's like, how can you relax it? I'm fully engaged. My mind is absolutely focused. It is anything but relaxed. It's firing up on all cylinders, trying to figure this out, you know? So let's see. Let's follow the contour of the core shadow that transitions creates that transition from light to dark. Let's see if I can design it into a decent shape. Again, I mean, I'm not gonna be fussy over likeness or anything like that. To me, it's like, did I get a head that's decently proportioned and that looks like a female? Yes? Okay, I'm happy. Like literally, that's the bar for me right now, based on my level, based on what I know I can do. And you know, I used to and I still do. I shouldn't say I used to. I beat myself a lot when it comes to painting. If I don't get a successful painting, which is 99% of the time, I really feel terrible, you know, because I want to get good at this. This is what I want to do. And I look at people who are ahead of me, and particularly now, you know, with social media, you're constantly exposed to the best of the best of the best. And you think that you're supposed to be like that, but you don't see all the shit paintings that they've done. You don't see all the sacrifices that they have had to make to get to that level. You don't know their story. Maybe they started at a young age. You know, I started painting when I was, well, not even painting. I started to learn art just based, man, look at that. That's fucked up. These proportions just look wrong, dude. It's because as I was following the shapes here, it struck me that this looks way too large, and I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I'll just go here, somewhere in between, right? And then pull this. Whew, that looks like a rough head. Okay. Pull it off here, pull the neck, and then just, let's see. Maybe once I clarify that this is part of the hair, it'll get better, but let's see how it goes. I'm gonna use this brush over here. This one. When you see it on, oh shit, dropped it. When you see it on camera, you're gonna understand why I laugh. I don't know if it's usable actually. Let's see. It's very oily. This brush right here. Destroyed, but it used to be one of my favorites because it's like a tiny scrub brush. Let's see. You know, why not? Still works. Does the trick. That's all you need. It's something that does the trick. You know? Okay. Boom, there we have it. Almost done with the the dark light separation. Think I'm gonna, fix that over there. Let's see, any other areas? Ooh, this is messed up. This is completely wrong. You see how I misjudged that? Completely misjudged that. Even though clearly, look at the reference. But you know what? This is what happens. Human, you make mistakes, you're focusing on other things, and things slip by. Things that shouldn't slip by just slip by. So I'm gonna use the magic of paint thinner just to thin it up a little bit, and then use the other side, which doesn't have any paint thinner, and just scrub some of that paint thinner away. And then once this sets up a little bit, I'll go ahead and redesign that shape. This is an opportunity actually to get rid of this as well. Just completely. Right? And then, that's kind of bothering me that she doesn't have a neck. So I'll just add a quick indication for the neck, just so that I don't go crazy. Just right here. Fix the bottom of the chin. We're good to go. And then I'll play with that area later. Let's see. Now what I want to do is do a I wanted to darken this over here, right? Because if I squint my eyes, obviously that area is very dark. That's where the eye socket is. But then I'm also thinking to myself, I want to make it also a little bit lighter, because I want it to, because it is lighter than if I open my eyes and I compare this eye socket to this eye socket over here, the eye socket that's in the light is slightly lighter than the eye socket that is in the dark. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a full general light value over this whole area, probably going to lose the nose and all that good stuff, and then paint over it with a dark, because just the interaction of the black zero value with the lights underneath it is going to lighten it up automatically. Now maybe this is the wrong choice, maybe this is the right choice, I have no idea. There's only one way to find out, which is to do it. So let's see what happens. Let's go with this crazy brush over here. Let's see. How light do I want this? I'm gonna go slightly darker than I think it should be. I don't know, just my intuition tells me that I should do that. And just the little bit of black in the brush over some pure white paint, and I got a gray, right? Just that slight interaction. And let's go ahead and do this. For a lot of us who are learning how to paint, how to draw, how to be artists, it's tough because it takes a while to get good at this, particularly if you're not starting young. Those of you who are starting young, man, take advantage of that, because your ability to soak up information is insane. And not only that, but you don't have a lot of responsibilities, right? But for the rest of us, or a lot of us, we have to deal with jobs, we have to deal with families, we have to deal with kids, our own kids, our spouses, our girlfriends, our loved ones, life responsibilities. And trying to fit an hour or two of painting in can be challenging. But if you manage to do that every day, just a couple of hours, that's a win. Every day, just a couple of hours, just, ack it out, just a little by little, etch out that time. One of my favorite movies, it's gonna sound grim, but one of my favorite movies is The Shawshank Redemption. If you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna give you any spoilers, right? But if you have seen it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I don't even have to explain it. It's that consistency, little by little, consistency. That's what gets you the win. That's what gets you the win. So we do what we can with the time that we have, and you know, whatever God has planned for us, He has. And we gotta let things be and enjoy the struggle, enjoy the moments, enjoy that we get to do this, that we're alive, that we can sling paint, we can draw cool stuff, and that we can express ourselves. So now I'm just finding the value, a good value to use for the background. I think this is pretty good. I could go darker maybe, but you know, it's not gonna make or break anything, I think. Let's see. I'll go a little darker. I mean, when I squint, it's like close enough, but I do want to go, let's see, if I compare it to the, yeah, it's just a tiny bit darker, I think. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's better. Use this to carve neck. I think I'll mix on the surface by adding a little bit of black here. Oh, that might be too much black. That's fine. Worked out in the end. Now I'll go ahead and use a different brush, something that has a little bit more control, so that I can carve out these areas over here. Okay. Again, just following the contour of the hair. I gotta get myself one of those tiny scrub brushes. These are actually the brushes that I would use for gouache. They're excellent for gouache. I mean, they're okay for oil. I know I should invest in better brushes, but because of my current living situation, I just don't clean my brushes enough, and I feel bad about investing in brushes that I'm gonna destroy relatively quickly because I don't take care of them that well, you know? So, you know, just trying to do my best with what I have. I added some medium just to make things flow more, so that I can go ahead and let me get rid of the static over here. Let's see. By static, I mean these little white spots that you see, right? Sometimes you just don't get good coverage for whatever reason, or the brush doesn't really want to comply, and you're in a rush and you move to another area and blah, 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 and you end up forgetting it. And it's just like, okay, so let's carve here, carve outside, and then go in. I might have to fix that again using some brush strokes. Let's see. Value-wise, I could add a few bridge tiles. There's a lot of highlights. Okay, so I don't remember where I learned this, which teacher. Was it online or some YouTube video or Watts Atelier? Or I think it might have been Glenn Orbick's course. Solve the knowns. Solve the easy things that you know how to solve first. And I'm looking at this right now and I'm just like, whoa, right? So, what are some easy wins that I can target? I don't know. So I think right now what's jumping at me is the transition between the core shadow for the bridge of the nose and the what eventually turns into a halftone, and then you see that jump to the highlight. So I think I'm gonna add a bridge tile to soften that transition between the core shadow of the bridge of the nose to the halftone. Let's see. Maybe this value that I used for the background would work. Maybe it's too light. Let's give it a shot. It's pretty good. Actually, it got completely sucked by the black. Let's give it another shot. Let's see. Okay, there we go. To that. Transitions here. Up like so. Okay. I've got that same value here as it transitions from this keystone to the forehead. I could probably soften the value here. Just play around with the shapes. Right. And then let me close this over here. The dark black. Okay, not my favorite design, but I think this might be too high. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Like it never happened. Okay, I think I want to do the eyebrow on the other side, on the light side. Looks pretty black to me. Let's see, so eyebrow here, following the rhythm, and then just a nice little indication there. Might as well go for the indication of the eye. Again, at this size, and with the clumsiness of brushes, I am just going to indicate. I'm not gonna sit here and you know, paint this eye. Just that is enough for me, right? Even the nose over here, like I don't even, oh man, what am I doing? I don't even need this line. Proceeds to draw that line that he doesn't need. Okay, let's try this one more time. Cover in the correct value. I don't need this line. Okay, right? It's gone. Now let me see. Let me go ahead and carve out the edge over here. I think it extends out even more. Extend it out like so. It's pretty straight. I'm gonna be quiet for a moment as I focus on this. Okay, I like the contour, but not a fan of the value. Probably have to use a thicker brush just to lay some strokes there, or just thicker paint. Let's see. So let me do this. Let me try and get the highlights now. I mean, might as well. There's that highlight here, and then I'm gonna use the white. carve out this shape. Okay. There is the highlight that is on the orbital. Man, I am not, I'm trying to change the value, but I'm not affecting it. And I'm also seeing a huge mistake here. Huge. Love imitating Trump. Crazy guy that he is. It's a character. I mean, as someone who's a foreigner, I'm not going to talk much about politics. I want to avoid that in my channel, obviously, but for obvious reasons, right? But just watching American politics from a foreigner's perspective is just insanity, dude. Like the level of craziness that happens in the US. Okay. Let's see here. What else can I do? I'll add a transition value for the rolling over of the hair as it goes from dark to light. Here. Let's see. Here. Man, this brush, it's as if it's not putting anything in. All my other brushes are just way too thick. Let me try this brush. Maybe I'm not loading enough paint in. I don't know. Let's try with some more paint. But it just gets sucked up in the paint below. So, and this is one of the difficulties with learning how to draw and paint online, is that you don't have someone next to you looking at, some things can only be corrected when someone observes you, sees your procedure. So it can be frustrating for someone like me who, just doesn't know. Sometimes it's like, okay, what am I doing that's wrong? But someone, if I just paint and send in a paint for a critique, then my instructor just looks at the painting. He doesn't look at my procedure. I mean, yeah, you can read the procedure from the painting, of course, but there are certain elements that cannot be seen just from the final image. And it can be difficult for an instructor to just correct you based on that, and you just have to soldier through the frustration. Why? I'm trying to get that highlight, but it's just graying out. Let's try this thick goop of paint. There you go. Oh, that's a highlight if I've ever seen one. Get one for the bridge of the nose. Clumsy. So clumsy. Get a clumsy thing here. Maybe an indication here. I don't like that lip, so I'm gonna redesign it. I mean, I like it on the reference, I don't like it on my painting. Plus the distance is way too much from the bottom of the nose. So let me see. Yeah, this is just a ridiculous distance, so it should be something like that. What am I doing? It's better-ish. But I'm gonna get rid of that. Hopefully that doesn't look like a mustache. Hopefully it looks like a lip. Okay. I think that's better. And then I'm gonna just add the indication of the road over there. I could add a value for the dark, Like something that I like to do is 2 values for the dark and 3 values for the light, or 3 values for the light and 2 values for the dark. But I feel like, I mean, I have 3 values for the light, kind of. Maybe that's a 4th value. But I just kind of feel that this works, and I don't need to add and fiddle all that with all that stuff. Oh man, this is interesting. Like, you try to make something lighter and you just make it darker. There we go. Is that better? No. Let me try another brush that can carry more paint in it and see if I can. There we go. Fix it. It's better. Okay, now I'm gonna carve out the shape of the neck, and then I'll call it a day for this particular painting. So you see, like, let me look at the timer. It's about 41 minutes, right? And I got so much out of this. Now, you know, I understand a little bit more about values. I understand a little bit about painting. I understand a little bit. And, you know, if you draw or you paint really large, sometimes you just focus on the drawing way too much. And you focus on the detail way too much. And you focus on, you know, what I like to call canoodling, just noodling until you get the perfect finish. But sometimes unfinished paintings look way better. Like those tiled paintings that you see that are, you know, technically unfinished, and you can, you know, just look at the brush strokes and see the brush strokes. That's the type of painting that I love. Kind of that Riley tiling stuff, right? The Bouguereaus. I mean, I love me a Bouguereau, right? I love to just sit and marvel at Bouguereau. But if you tell me to paint like that, I'll kill myself. Like, I just don't have the patience. It's my temperament. I wish I had the patience for it, because I would love to do a painting that's in the style of Bouguereau, and maybe I will do it one day just to see if I can do it. But to, you know, base my art style around it, I don't know. I mean, things change, obviously. My style has changed over the years, and I don't know if I want to call it style. My taste in painting has changed over the years. The more I learned about painting, the more I learned about drawing. So maybe right now I'm like, this Bouguereau stuff, blah 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 blah. But then a few years from now, I'm like, you know what? I actually love that, because you grow and you change and you experience new things, and you know. Get this hair going. Give her more back of skull. See, I have the way my light setup is. There we go. That's better. Now I can see better. And it's another thing that you don't, you know, really think about, but you should think about when you're painting, is that the light setup. Like, can make a huge difference in how you set up the lighting in your studio and how you see the painting. And some mistakes can happen if you have the wrong lighting setup, and I definitely do not have the right lighting setup. Let's see. I think I'm gonna add just a little bit. See, that's crazy. See that dark? That was supposed to be a highlight, but my brush just was so messed up that even when I picked up that highlight white, I ended up painting it as gray. I don't like it. It takes away. So let's go ahead and fix that. I think that looks like a mustache. So let me fix it so that it fits the Riley rhythm. Just go like, maybe you can get rid of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. And in doubt, leave it out, right? And then I'm maybe gonna use cheat a little bit, and instead of using a brush, I'll use this for its sharp tip and add a node. Let's see, the hair definitely needs some highlight love. Some white paint. Yeah. There we go. And then, man, in my mind, I keep telling myself this is the last stroke, but then another stroke happens, and this is the last stroke, and I'm not. It's just, you notice a mistake, it bothers you. You notice another mistake, it bothers you. It's like you're never gonna get perfection. So I'm gonna call this. I don't want to call it done. Let's see. I think I can darken here. Okay, that's too dark. Let me find a clean brush that I can use. That way I can just mix these values together. That's better. It's good enough for me. On to the next painting.